Shall we start with the recording part? Yeah, is it so? If I put out my hair, if I put out my hair, then is there any problem? Is there any problem in that? Is there any problem in that? Array constructor. We can use array constructor. Create an array object. You said just have to speak in front of this. Don't have to use in front of this. This is gonna have a primary purpose. Array constructor. The array constructor create an array object, not just it's just first have to read about the array. What does it mean? Then we are going to know about array constructor. Yeah. The array object has an array. I am re-recording this video again. Not this is not previous one, so keep that in mind. Because I want to study over the array. That's it. That's why I am recording this again. Our object, as with the array in programming language, enables storing a collection of multiple items using a single variable name as a members of performing common array operation. Description in JavaScript array aren't primitive but are nested array objects that are following characteristics. JavaScript arrays are resizable and contain mix of different data types. When those characteristics are undesirable, use type array instead. JavaScript array are not associative array, or so array element cannot be accessed using arbitrary string or index it, but it accessed using a non-negative integer or their respective string from an index. JavaScript array are zero index. The first element of an array has 0, second is 1, and so on. The last element of the value are length property minus 1. JavaScript array operation and shallow copies all stand built-in operation, and JavaScript contain create shallow copies rather than deep copies. Array indices or object cannot be used arbitrary string or element indexes or associate array, but must use non-negative integer or their respective string of setting or accessing by non-integer will not set to retrieve an element from an array itself, but will set an access or variable associated with the object property collection. The array object properties and the list of the array elements are separate. The array traversal and mutation operation cannot be applied to those these name property. Array element are object properties and same way that toString is a property to be specific. However, toString is a method. Nevertheless, trying to access an element when array are as follows: throw and syntax error because the property name is not valid. JavaScript syntax require properties beginning with a digit of access using bracket notation instead of dot notation. It is also possible to code the array indices instead of years, although usually not necessary. The here choose correct codes into a string with JavaScript implicit to string conversion. As a result, 2 or 0 to would refer two different slots of the year object, and the example could be true. Only years is actually array index. Years is an arbitrary index string property that will be not visited in array iteration. Relationship between length and numerical properties. And JavaScript array length property and numerical properties are connected. Several of the built-in array method join, slice, index of, etc. take in account value of array length property when they are called. Other methods push, splice are result in update of an array length property. Do you get it what it does mean? If you do not, then you will just wait a minute. When setting a property of a JavaScript array, when a property is valid, array indexes that indexes outside of the current bound of an array, the engine will update the array length property accordingly. Do you get it? And increasing the length extend to array by adding empty slot with a creating new element not even undefined. Fruit.length equal to 10. Console.length fruit. Console.object.key to fruit. Console.length fruit.length. Console.fruit.key. If decreasing length property does however delete element. Fruit.length equal to 2. Console.object.key fruits. This is explained further on the length page. Array method are empty and floats. Empty slots in a sparse behave inconsistently between array. Generally hold a method will keep empty slot, while newer one keep them undefined. Among method that iterate through multiple elements, the following do and in check before accessing index and do not combine conflate empty slot with undefined. For exactly how they treat empty slots at the page of each method. These methods treat empty slot as if they are undefined. Copying method and mutating method. Some method do not mutate the existing array that the method was called. Or what does it do? You get the method never copies anything beyond the initially created array. Element of the original array are copied into new array as follows. The object reference is copied into new array. Both the original and new array refer to the same object. That is, if the reference object is modified, the change are visible to both new and original. Primitive types such as string, number, and boolean, not string, number, and boolean object, their value are copied into new array. Other method mutate the array that method was called on, in which case their return value differ depending on the method. Sometimes a reference to the same array, sometimes the length of the new array. The following method can create new array by accessing this constructor symbol spaces to determine the constructor use. Concat, filter, flat map, slice to construct a new array. The array removed element that return. The following method use always create new array with the array with constructor to reverse, to sort it, to splice with. The following they will list the method mutate the original array and corresponding non-mutative alternative. Copy with, fill, bob, push, reverse, shift, sort, splice, unshift. As we read about them earlier today in the morning. Slice, concats, to reverse, slice, to sort it, to splice, to get it. Creative method. Many array method can take a callback function as an argument. The callback function is called sequentially, and it most once each element in array, then return value of the callback function is used to determine the return value of the method. They all share the same signature, where callback function 3 argument element, the current element being processed in array, the index of the current element being processed in the array, the method was called upon. What callback is executed return depend on the array method that was called. The thing argument default each one defined will be used to this value when callback. The value ultimately observable by callback function will determine according to the usual rules. If callback is non-strict primitive, this value is wrapped into object that undefined null is substituted with global this. The argument is irrelevant for any callback defined within or a function, as arrow function don't have in their own branching. All iterating methods are copying and generic, although they behave differently on empty slot. In particular, every find index, find last index, or some do not always invoke callback on every element. They stop iteration as soon as the return value is determined. Out of the two methods that take a callback function and run it most once is irrelevant enough, but they have slightly different signature from typical iterating method. For example, they don't accept this argue, reduce, write. The sort method makes a callback function. But it is not an iterating method. It mutates the array in a place, doesn't expect the argument, invoke the callback multiple on the index. Generic array method are always generic. They don't access any internal data of any object. They only access the array element through the length property and indeed index element. This means that they can be called an array as well. Normalization of the length property, of the converted. Let's read about the constructor. So I think so. We can go to a new array through constructor also. If we specify values in between these two parentheses or curly bracket, we can create a new array through this only element 1, element 1, and 2. This all can say that we can create an array through this constructor even. Okay, parameter as JavaScript array is initialized with a given element, except in case when a single argument is passed array constructor. The argument is a number. See the array fluent parameter. So now, not that the special case only applies JavaScript. Array constructor not here. Array.length if only argument passed to the array constructor of integer. Exception though if there is only one argument that is number, that value is not integer between. Array literal notation. Array constructor with single parameter. Array can be created with a constructor with a single number parameter. An array is created with a length property set to the date number in array element in inventory slots. You get it. Array constructor with multiple parameters. If more than one argument is passed to the constructor, a new array with a given element is created. Specification. Properties. There are properties type of you can use, like the code iterate a prototype, iterate no concat at let cover the at method array instance take an integer value and return the item at that index. Oh, the following positive or negative integer. Negative integer count back from the last item in the array. In the array, one and a crossing. Expected out using an index of 2. The interval is 8. 2. I'm going to find the index using it. Minus 2. Array dot 1, not index at index 2, 2, 0, 8, yeah, it's in 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, it's wrong, brother, not 130, it's 8, should be 8. At index parameter, 0 based index of the array element should be returned, converted to integer, negative integer count back from the end of array. If index is greater than 0, less than 0, index plus array plus the axis, return value, the elements in the array matching the given box. Always return undefined if the index is less than array dot length, without attempting indexing the corresponding property. The description at method is equivalent to the bracket notation with index is non-negative. For example, array dot meta with rows written first item. However, when counting element from the end of the array, you cannot array like the Python or array because all values inside the square are treated literally as string properties. So you when and which is just a non-string property instead of an array index. The usual practice is to extend length and calculate the index of that. For example, array.length minus the at method allow relative indexes so they can sort into the array. At method is generic; it only accepts this value to have a length property and keyboard properties. Return the last value of an array. Return the last value of the array function. Array contains array.at constant item. Comparing method under concat. Concat method array instead is used to merge two or more array. The method does not change the existing array but instead return a new array. Okay, that's the whole point of this. From it, returnable a new array instance is a description. Example: concatenating two array. And 3 array. Concatenating value of an array. Ole. Concatenating nested array. What push? Another array like object with symbol. Using concat on space array. Calling concat on array object. Specification. Copy within. The copy within method is of array instantly shallow copies part of the array to another location. Same array. Return this array without modifying its length. The copy within method of array instantly copies part of the array. Around 14 minutes has been passed in this video. We are going with a quite good speed. Let's continue with it. Okay, let's continue with it. One day we will get success in this process. It's for sure. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day. And they will deliver. We are accessing. I'm going to help out more people through this process. That's the whole process of doing this. Because I can read out this article or this what documentation without recording this video. But what the interest in recording this video is that I can show you that I am doing. I can show myself in future. I did it without thinking too much about I did it. So let's continue with the process. I think it is 106th video of this channel. Yeah, it's 106th video of this channel. We are going with the body spread. It's only about, it's going to about 1 year, 2 or 3 months, but I regain focus upon, I regain focus again from last week itself. So if we view that from that point of view, we are going with a quite good spread. That's all I can say. Already have 15 minutes. That's it for the video. We'll see you next time with a new method.